back. Good to see everybody. We look forward to this training camp up here at Missouri Western State University. They treat us great up here, and we appreciate that, all the effort that goes into it. President Lilly does a great job of setting things up, along with our athletic director here, Andy Carter. So we appreciate all that they do and turning their facility over to us and letting us put together a training camp. Look forward to getting the rookies in. We've got the rookies and quarterbacks in. Selected vets are here, so we will be ready to go tomorrow. And then we'll do that for a couple days, and then the veterans come in, and then we'll start the camp from there. As far as any of the injuries go, right now some updates would be Norman Lott. Most likely will start on PUP, but is making progress. He had the ACL reconstruction there. Pat's doing great with his, and right now he's got clearance to practice and do all the different periods that we have in this camp, and then we'll just take it day by day and see how he does. He'll have plenty of eyes on him, from coaches to trainers to doctors. So, but right now he's been cleared to go ahead and participate fully. Rashee Rice, with his knee debridement, is doing great. So he will again go. We'll keep an eye on him, but he's cleared to go. And then Delane right now is having his final physical right now. So he's right in the process of that, but is doing well there. And then LJ Sneed, we always, like we did before, kept an eye on him with his knee, and we'll just take him slowly and gradually get him back into the mix there as we go. But look forward to getting him on the field. And really, for the most part, everybody else is in a good position. Geilenborg, he's still working through the knee sprain in which he had. They're doing some other evaluations on him, so we'll just see for this camp here. Most likely, he won't get much work there. So other than that, I think everybody's in pretty good position to roll. Really, Norman Lott's the main one there, but again, big guys with ACLs, it takes a little bit of time to get them back and fully strengthened up and ready to go. Other than that, time's yours. Fire away.
Andy, will camp still be different for Patrick, even though he has been cleared?
I don't think it will be. We'll see about games and all that once we get there, Sam. But right now, we're just going to take it day by day and see how he does. But he's been given the clearance.
What did you see out of him to make sure that he was okay to be cleared to practice?
Well, he's been up here every day and doing his thing and rehabbing. And I've mentioned before how much time he spent. If anybody spent time doing this thing the right way, he's it. So we appreciate that, and he's been given clearance by the doctors to work, and they're pretty comfortable with that. But again, keeping an eye on him.
Is it just a day by day with his usual reps, Andy, or do you want to sort of build him along?
Well, we'll start off with usual reps. So the nice thing about having this rookie camp is you can kind of gradually build it up, and then he gets a day off normally that third day anyway. So we'll get an idea where he's at there. But he's been working so hard. You have a pretty good feel that he's in a good place. So,
Coach, he's made it clear that he wants to play week one. What's your expectation that he's going to be ready week one?
Yeah, I'm optimistic, but I want to. And I know he is extremely optimistic, but I think you've got to see how things go here. I mean, let's just see where we're at and not make any predictions or anything else. Take it day by day and see where it goes.
Coach, you mentioned Rashee. We haven't talked to you since he got out of jail. Has he been up at the facility working and getting his stuff done, and do you expect him to be up here early with the guys to work out there?
Yeah, he's done a great job rehabbing up here. He's been up here the whole time. And then he'll be in and out here the next couple of days. But he's been here throughout. Yeah.
You mentioned optimism with Pat for week 1. With Norman Lott, is it optimistic that he will participate at some point during training camp?
Yes. Whether it's during training camp or somewhere in training camp, potentially he'll be out there. But yeah, I think we're just got to keep the strength part of it coming with him. But,
Coach, what's your message to the rookies coming to this part of it? You've kind of been ramping them up. What do you expect, an eye-opener for them to be up here a little bit different?
yeah, I mean, it's a little different. It's great to be back, with the center block surrounding you and puts them right back as freshmen in college. So it's, but I don't think they'll be too shocked by that part. The workload is going to be tough, obviously, and they'll push through it. These 3 days are great for rookies to give them just an introduction to the offense again, the defense again, special teams again, where you can slow it down a little bit. You don't have a ton of numbers, but you have enough where they can get reps, but you've got to slow it down because of numbers and the heat and all that to get work done there. So, but gives them a nice little ramp up, and then they get another review once the veterans get in of basically the same plays for those first couple days. So it can be beneficial as long as you're focused in on it and going. And there's a lot of work we've got to do as a football team, period. And I know the guys are in the right mindset to do that. So the rookies felt that in the off-season program, and there's a great mindset ready to go forward here with the guys. I've talked to a number of them over the break, and they seem focused in and ready to go.
This is the longest offseason you all have had in a while. Can that rest be beneficial as you turn the page to training camp?
Yeah, as long as you've handled it right, I think that's important. You've got I mentioned this before the guys left, that you want to step back and get a bit of rest, but then you got to go, and you got to build that foundation to get you through the season. And you can't sit on the couch and get that done. If the OTAs are any indicator, these guys they're willing to work, and we'll see what the retention is with the young guys, see where they're at, and going forward.
Delane was what the biggest draft investment you've had in a long time, I guess. Since he's been in the building behind the scenes, what have you seen that maybe solidified that for you guys? And then, what do you want out of him this weekend?
Yeah, well, we like the way he goes about his business. He's a focused kid. He seems to be a smart, sharp kid. And then he's willing to work. He was banged up a little bit, but he's willing to work, and he's aggressive that way, too aggressive in the case where he hurt himself there. But I think you've got a good player there. He's got to go. You got to get in and go and get the reps in the defensive scheme so that you get that down.
Hey, Andy, how different does this feel right now at the start of training camp, given how last season ended? And obviously you probably had a sense during the off season, but.
Yeah, so the whole point of the mindset was that last season was last season, and then it's now. So we're not focusing on that last season. We're focusing on now, and your mindset's got to be right for that, and going forward here, and taking one day at a time and cranking it out, and so that's where we're at. The NFL, you know how this thing goes, Jerry. That there's so much change in this thing year to year. Every year is different, and if you're focused on the issues last year, then it's going to take away what you're doing this year. So you got to focus in on the present and giddy up and go, and you're given an opportunity to do that in this league with all the parity in this league. So that's where we're at.
Andy, with that, I mean, with having maybe an extra 5 or 6 weeks compared to the past, did it get even harder to certain spots you've dug, or did you change the way you evaluated your process?
Well, you said it. You have more time, and so with that, you get, if nothing else, you get reps at looking at plays. You get an opportunity to look at other teams and study those teams, and dig in the college level and see the things that are going on there. It's just you have more time to go through things.
Andy, having Eric Bieniemy back this offseason, OTAs and everything, what's it been like to have him back in there?
Yeah, it's great to have him back in the building. He always brings great energy. I told you, he's one of the more phenomenal guys I've been around as being a leader of men, and he's doing that. He's in cranking, works his tail off. Appreciate that. Doesn't let anything slide by. Does a good job with that.
Does it seem like old times, or is it a little bit different?
No, he stepped right in and we rolled. He's good with that. He was running some of the same stuff before he went to Chicago. He was running some of the same stuff that we were doing here, so it was easy for him to pick it up and keep rolling forward. And he brought some good ideas with him too, on top of all that.
Coach, you didn't hold this camp last year. What were kind of the factors that went into doing it this year? And I know you have a lot more rookies on this year's roster than you did last year.
Yeah, man, that's the primary thing. The rookies, I just thought it was necessary. I didn't like not doing it last year after I got done with it, to be honest with you. And it's a good thing for the quarterbacks. It's a good thing for the rookies coming in. We do have more numbers this year, so it allows us to get more reps in that I think will benefit us.
Okay, guys?
All right? All right, thank you. Yep.
Patrick, just the update, how are you doing, and getting fully cleared to practice, just the steps it took to get to this point, how you're able to prove that it's unique to do it.
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work and just day to day, just continuing to do it over and over again. It was always the goal to be able to practice when we got to training camp, and so we've kind of hit that next step, and now it's just going to be about building and keep getting better and better, and so that whenever the regular season comes around, I can try to be available and ready to play.
When did you know for sure that you were going to be able to practice the first day?
Like 2 days ago, so I was able to go down and meet with Dr. Cooper and just kind of go through the stuff like that, and then him seeing the numbers and stuff that I've been putting up. He gave him the comfortability to let me go out there and be fully cleared to practice, which, I mean, I don't get hit, so that's one part of it, but it's still good to be out there and have bodies around and being able to go through and run the offense.
Hey, Patrick, to be hurt so late in the season in December, how did it become realistic for you to be at this point now, just given the time it goes for rehab?
I mean, it's kind of always just been the plan, like just looking at the dates, and there were certain checkpoints I had to get to this point, and this is just another checkpoint on the schedule, and so you have to continue to work. It's not like it's over and I'm just going to be able to play a game tomorrow. It's you got to continue to work and get better and better and go throughout practice, and prove to the coaches, prove to the doctors and everybody that I'm the same quarterback I was before, if not better, and I can go out there and take care of myself and win football games.
You said before, Patrick, that you wanted to be able to run and sort of change directions. Do you feel like that's improved since we last talked to you over the last 2 months?
100%. I mean, I had to. I mean, that's stuff I had to prove to the doctors and to the coaches and everybody like that to be at this point. And so it's a long process. The process isn't over. It'll be something I'll probably deal with for the next few years of my career and throughout the rest of my career. But you have to stay on top of that stuff. But I feel comfortable now being able to go out there and run the offense the way the offense is supposed to be ran.
How much of a challenge do you think it'll be mentally, when you're ongoing with your first 11 on period, or do you feel that you'll just be able to get right back to where you were?
I mean, you don't know. That's kind of just part of the process, like we've had people kind of on air kind of coming at me and me moving, but it's not the same as having Chris Jones chasing after you, you know. And so that's part of the mental process. That's part of the physical process is being able to go out there. But I'm happy that I get to do that. You know, I get to do that from the beginning of training camp. And this will be the hardest training camp that you can have as far as preparing for the season. And so I'm glad that I'm able to do that starting tomorrow, and then we can continue as training camp goes on.
Does that include you wearing a brace probably all season, or would you have hoped to shed it at some point?
There isn't really a plan for it. I'm gonna start off with it just because I've worn it before and I feel comfortable with it. So that's kind of where we will start. But it's not like I've been told I have to wear it or how long I have to wear it. It's just gonna be my comfortability, how I feel. But I will start with it on just because I feel like I can still move and be myself with it. I play with it in college, and then we'll just see where we go from there.
When you came back from your injury in college, do you remember the first time you were in a live situation again? How did you react, and how do you think you'll react here?
We will see. I mean, I think more than that, I think what I think of most is when I dislocated my knee. We played in that Titans game a few weeks later, and I felt healthy and everything like that. And I have that throw where I jump and throw the ball, and it looks cool, but I actually did it because I was trying to get my knee out of there. So it's just little things like that. You just have to build that confidence back. But like I said, I'm glad I get to do that from the day one of training camp. You know, I didn't want to have to get only a couple weeks of practice in and then have to go play in a game. I wanted to build it up, and how training camp goes is we gradually build. And so I think that'll gradually help me kind of get back to where I need to be.
Do you want to play in the preseason, Patrick, if given the opportunity, if you demonstrate continual progress?
I think we'll just see when we get there. Like I'm a competitor, so game day I'm going to want to be out there. But I understand the process of getting myself ready to play in the regular season is more important. But we will see. I mean, the coaches and docs will kind of make that decision for me. But I'll prepare myself like I'm going to play, and then if I'm just doing a very hard warm up, I will take that as serious as playing in the preseason game. And so it's just So it's a couple weeks away, but it feels like a long ways away. I'm going to go with the next step of just kind of going out there with the rookies this week.
You said
Hey,
a minute
Patrick,
ago you want to show that you could come out of this the same or better. In what ways do you think you can come out of this a better or better?
Yeah, I think when you talk to guys that have kind of had this injury I have, a lot of times you're stronger. I feel stronger than I've ever felt as far as strength and lifting and stuff like that. And so now it's just about getting that quarterback stuff down, that stuff moving in the pocket quick, making those quick movements, reacting and doing stuff like that. And so I feel like I wasn't playing my best football at the end of last year before I got hurt. And so I got to find ways to get better, kind of navigating the pocket, running the offense better, and getting the ball in my hands and letting other guys make plays. And so I think this injury helped me kind of focus on those little things as I kind of get back to being who I am.
Hey, Patrick, they were asking about you. Excuse me. Yeah, they were asking about the mental part of your game going forward. But looking back over the last few months, what was the toughest part of the rehab process, and was there anything mentally that you had to push through?
You know, honestly, the toughest part was at the beginning was like not being able to get up and like chase my kids around like that. I know it sounds crazy, but being a dad and being active, I always want to be around my kids and playing and stuff like that. And so I think that was tough. Once I was able to do that, it kind of motivated me to kind of keep getting better and better. So when Braun has a T-ball game or Sterling's playing soccer, I can be out there with them. I always knew that I was going to get back here, and it's just because of my mindset and the people that we have around me. I think that once I was able to do that, it kind of mentally helped me kind of get through this process.
Patrick, when you mentioned that Titans play, when was it where you felt like you weren't maybe cautious about that?
I think after that play, it's like I showed that I could be athletic, I could jump off the knee that I had injured, and that I could still make plays that I've always made. And so you'll never know until you get out there and you get hit and you make plays. That's just kind of part of it. But I trust the process that I've been through. I feel amazing, and I just got to keep continuing with that, and then I'll take that first hit just like you do every regular season, and then you go back to playing football, the game you love.
Related to that, you mentioned
You mentioned some of the guys that you said you had talked to about this. Who are some of the guys, and what's the best advice and wisdom that you received?
You know, I talked to Tom early in the process because he had the same injury, a very similar injury that I had. Tyron a little bit, kind of very similar injury. And then I talked a lot to actually Zach Ertz, who got injured very close in my time, and we kind of had like competitions on like where we were at and where we were rehabbing. And so it's just kind of talking to guys that have been through this process and just say like how you have to stay on top of it. I mean, like it's a long process. I remember sitting on the table and watching us play those last few games, how much it hurt me, but I knew that if I continue to work, I could be at this spot where I get cleared for practice. And now I'm just trying to get to that spot where I'm cleared to play in the regular season on that first week.
Let's go across the room. Matt, Derek, you're up.
I just asked.
Oh, you got yours? Okay.
Yeah.
Steve, go ahead.
I know you had some injuries before, but how much have you learned about yourself throughout this whole process?
I don't know if I really learned anything crazy. It's just like a mindset you have to have in order to go about this process, and it's hard. Like every day is hard, and you have to just continue to just stack days on days, and stuff kind of just builds and builds. And like I said, I think having my kids and being able to, like, after rehab go to t-ball practice, and after rehab go to whatever with Sterling, and I think that kind of kept my mind off the repetitiveness. And so now it's just about getting here. And I've told some of the guys, it's like sometimes you come up to St. Joe and you're like, all right, we're gonna go to St. Joe or be in the dorm, stuff like that. I'm like, I'm excited just to be able to play football. I've been seeing cinder block walls rehabbing every single day in Kansas City, and so now to get out to be on that practice field with my teammates and my brothers, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
And you've been a pretty mobile quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
How much have you learned that you may not be able to do some of the things that you did before?
I plan to be able to do everything I did before. I've been moving around and doing that stuff, but I'm going to obviously try to take care of myself a little bit better than I did last season. I think I ran a little bit too much last season in general, so I'll try to be better with that. And then if all else fails, just give it to K9 and let him just go out there and work.
Aaron?
The injury aside, you all didn't have the year that you wanted last year. Does it feel different come to St. Joe this year? Do you approach anything differently?
It doesn't feel different in the sense of like what happened last year, because that happened last year. It's a brand new year. If you win the Super Bowl or don't make it, if you don't win the Super Bowl, you're in the same spot, and you're coming to kind of do it again this next year. I think it's just the longer break. I think you can just tell guys are more excited to be back in the building. You know, we've had a lot of short off seasons, and so having that extra 6 weeks, it sounds awesome until you're in the middle of summer and you're like, man, I really miss football. And so I think just seeing the guys around the building, especially this last week, as guys are kind of filing back into Kansas City, you can tell guys are really pumped to get back out here and play football.
Todd?
Coach mentioned that Reid had been up rehabbing after he got out. What do you expect from him? You think he's going to be up here at this rookie park now? I mean, what's his mindset coming into this from when you've seen him?
Yeah, he's excited to get back out here. Kind of a similar thing is he's ready to play football again and just get out here and be with the guys. And I've been rehabbing with him a lot. He's been in the building as much as I have, him and Omar. And it's been, I mean, I hate that they're injured, but it's been good for me because you have guys that you can work with and try to get better with together. And so he's doing great. Like, he's doing great. I've thrown to him. He's caught. He's done all the stuff he needs to do. And I don't know if he'll be out on the field or whatever, but I know he's rehabbing and doing what he needs to be on the field whenever camp gets going.
And last little thing, you mentioned numbers with the, when you're doing your rehab. These are probably not yards and stuff. What are the little numbers you compete with Zach Ertz on? What were those things?
Well, it would start off as like how much deadlift, like what you're deadlifting, where you're at. And then it's like you send little videos like he's jumping and doing certain acceleration things, and I'm like sending him next week doing cutting and stuff like that. And so it keeps the competition going because it's a long process, and you feel like sometimes you're lonely because you're doing stuff by yourself and you're just competing against yourself. So it gave me someone else that I can compete with to kind of push my competitive drive.
Jesse?
Hey, Patrick, what's one area you want to be sure to improve this year after the season you went through?
Yeah, I think it's just about getting the ball out of my hands. I think, obviously, I like to make the big play happen, and sometimes I won't take the short one, or I won't take the first read because I'm trying to make a bigger play happen. It's getting the ball out of my hands, making plays like that happen, and then whenever the deep ball is there, you have to hit it. Like, at the end of the day, that's just comes down to me throwing the ball and giving guys chances to make plays. It doesn't always have to be perfect, but give guys chances to make plays downfield. And so if we can do that, as well as the running game that I'm excited for, I think we can get back to being a dynamic offense.
Last one, Sam.
Andy says he plans on having you go through this camp as if it was any other, but have you had a conversation with him about, hey, if you want to call, under center plays more often, that I'm ready for that? Do you want just the same routine as if you haven't gone through this?
I mean, I want him to call it like we're going to call it in the regular season. So whatever that is, that's going to be the best way for me to prepare myself. And then I can always let him know if I need to get pulled back or anything like that. But how I am as a competitor, I want to go out there and test it. You want to test it now in training camp, see where you're at. So when you get to the regular season, it's almost a little bit easier because you've kind of been through it all. And so that's how he runs training camp. I don't think he's going to take it light on anybody, including me. And then I'm going to go out there and see where I can do.
Okay, thanks, Patrick.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.